Hello. Um, Today I'm going to be talking about the idea of merging, and that's when the walls between our separate selves come down and you go through this process of releasing that concept. And then your experience day to day is more of a flowing with all that is rather than doing all these individual things yourself and thinking that you do them instead of simply carrying out what the flow brings to you. That there's a different feeling. And as we approach toggling over into what feels like a different operating system, we have this experience, or we can have this experience of merging with people as we relate to them. We get many, many opportunities to bring those walls down conceptually. I wanted to give you an invitation before I get into that because I was remembering how when I was a teenager, I don't know, maybe around 14, I started seeing energy fields around people. And it wasn't anything I could do anything with. It was always a clear energy field. And then later I started seeing them around objects too. The way I discovered I could see these was when a speaker was against a light wall without a lot of busy background behind them. And I could see this clear kind of white light emanating from them about, well, like when I'm looking at myself, you can see it like about that, no, wait, that far away. And then there's kind of a bigger one, but the first one you see just around the body. The body is energy. If you haven't seen them before, because there's not a lot of busy background behind me, you might start to see it. It's kind of like one of those images where it's a pattern, but if you unfocus your eyes, you can see the picture the artist meant you to see. It's kind of like that. It'll pop into focus when you're not noticing, and then you think, "Oh my gosh, I see that." It can just be a unifying thing. There are people who see colors around people, and sometimes I might see a tinge of this or that color. I I like the unifying sense of everybody's energy, and they're just that, and we don't have to judge them beyond that, and we can trust in the the essence of us, the divine essence of us that is really just love, that brings us together with people and gives us experiences with them, and we can just trust in that instead of evaluating and judging and deciding who they are. So seeing the energy fields, which all seem very equal to me, reminds me of that. So if you've never seen one and you get the chance to see one during this video or any of my videos, that I realize I've always consistently stayed against a light background like this. So let me know if you see one. So merging. When we're on this journey toward changing our concept of who we are from separate selves, possibly in conflict with each other and needing to triumph in various situations, to simply one self that moves in harmony with itself in confidence that it is loved and supported and given the resources it needs all along the way. Um, when we have contact with individual people, I'm going to focus on the situation of meeting somebody new, because with the people you see a lot, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper with them, and that's kind of a different experience. So I'll talk about meeting somebody new. Maybe you have a conversation with this person and you connect and you laugh and enjoy and you think, I really like this person. There's another level. If you have not completely surrendered to all that is yet and you have stuff to release, which I do. So that's why I'm telling you about this, because if you haven't gotten to this point yet, it can feel very disturbing. Um, if your definition of yourself is, well, that's another thing we let go, a definition of a separate self. But if it is, I like people and I get along with people, and I appreciate people. But then you start having experiences after meeting somebody where you are experiencing the part of you that resonates with the part of them that you're both hiding or hiding from, um, your dark side, or maybe they aren't even hiding it. um, for example, I met and enjoyed some time with somebody who has had experiences of non-physical entities, that were not a nice kind, and very intense and prolonged experiences with such entities. I have not shared that experience in the physical. Um, so there, I enjoyed my time with her, and I appreciate her. I still appreciate her. But I realized as I was talking to her, I did feel a mild sense of threat for that idea to even come up, that there could be non physical entities and they could be attacking or harmful. Um, that was my ego trying to build a sense of threat within me, and trying to kind of seduce me over to the sense that what I am could be vulnerable, or threatened, or to the idea that there's something that love can't handle through me. So I could feel that coming up, but it wasn't dominant in the experience at all. But later on, and this will often happen for me in the shower because all the other sensory input is gone and I'm relaxed, it kicked up. And I really did feel, you know how like when you're scared after a horror movie or something, um, which I don't watch because I guess I can't handle it. Maybe I should until I can. I don't know. Um, but that kind of like you're going up the stairs and something's behind me, that sort of feeling. I felt that so strongly, and I could almost believe in that moment. I'm under threat. There is something terrible here, and um, I must fight or escape, or the fear really came up strongly. What I want to point out about that is it's not a reason to label somebody else, because you will feel that it came from that person. It's not, if at first we don't know why we're disturbed, so we might feel disturbed and blame it on somebody else or our own inadequacy or something. But as you go down through the layers and you become more and more sensitive, you will associate it with that person who brought it up in you. But they should be thanked for revealing what you have hidden, because there was a layer in me that still holds on to that sense of threat actively, that still identifies as separate and vulnerable actively. Every day in my daily life, there's a component of that. So that's why these people deserve our thanks and our gratitude. And they don't symbolize a problem. They're there for us. There was that tendency in me at first when I would have a processing experience after meeting with somebody, and so my tendency would be like, well, if I just avoid that person, or socializing in general, introverts, you hear me, right? If I'm just by myself, I'm at peace. But there is certainly a time and place to be by yourself and enjoy the sweetness and peace of your own company. And whenever that feels great, you do it. But there's also a hiding away from the world that can come, a kind of a cowering. And that's that active sense of vulnerability. So we learn to get over that and to really appreciate our interactions with other people and what they bring to us, especially when they flush up active resistance present within us, because nobody else is responsible for the experience we're choosing. So if we have overlaid upon our experience this sense of vulnerability, this sense of threat, that's on us. It's always on us, and it's always for us to release. So as we as we move through life, the successive experiences we have for other people are for appreciation and joy and working together and co-creating, and they simultaneously are for the flushing up and out. And once we get used to the rather consistent flushing up and out, um, we won't hold that against anybody, and we will actually come to appreciate what that does for us, because it's nothing. What they bring up in us as a mirror image reflection of us, what they bring up in us is never anything we really wanted to hold on to in the first place. So it's like they were divinely ordained to come into our orbit and help us see something that we weren't able to see clearly. Hope this helps, and I hope you maybe saw an energy field. Thanks.